Howdy, folks, and welcome to Moose Podcast number 338, the iPhone question. How you folks doing? Hey, I want to thank you for your responses to our last podcast with my dear friend and tech advisor, Chuck. I'm glad that we answered so many of your computer questions. I was a little concerned, but I'm glad that we hit home for a number of you. That was the goal, helping you move your photography forward. So appreciate the love notes. I appreciate the response. And some of you actually heard a difference. I'm pretty amazed. Again, I am using the new Adobe Podcast Beta, which is a internet web-based podcast AI machine. And I got to tell you, the experience is totally different. There is, for people who are control freaks, yeah, there are no controls. And at the same time, hey, you just click and go. It's really simple and easy. So for me, it works great, especially for inviting guests, which I'm hopefully going to do more of because it makes it so easy. So thanks, Adobe, for having me in the beta program. At the same time, I want to thank my good friends at Bedford Camera, bedfords.com. Hey, folks. Yeah, tonight I am going to be at the Fayetteville store. We are talking aviation. We are going to turn those props, light those fires, have a great time, help you get your aviation photography passion tuned up, ready to go. And man, because the air show season has started, which is where many of you get to participate in your favorite thing, aviation photography. So come on by Bedford's Fayetteville store. And hey, while you're there, you might want to pick up a thing or two. I know I've got a tripod I want to get when I'm there. It's they are a great resource for product information and education. And they also sponsor the Moose podcast and are home of the Moose discount. Phew, they do it all. So thank you, Bedfords, for all you do. Appreciate it. Bedfords.com. Let me get right into this episode. The iPhone question. I know why all of a sudden I've received a bunch of comments, email and in person, about the iPhone and its camera, or any smart device as far as that goes. What's up? Well, that's. I mean, I don't know if it's new because there was a thing. I'm sure it was a fad, but anyway, a number of years ago, the best camera ever, and it was the iPhone. Well, it was the best camera ever because they keep improving it. But to get to the point, people using that iPhone camera, can you make a living from it? I don't know. Is it the best camera ever? That would I would argue with, especially not the most flexible. But is it the easiest? Yeah, it could probably be win the easiest. But as we all know, the easiest isn't necessarily the best. I mean, this is how I look at it, and I'm assuming you're asking my opinion, which is why the questions came to me. So I'm going to give you my 2 cents worth. You know, as visual communicators, visual storytellers, to be our best at that, it demands us to look at every possible tool that comes along. Bodies, lenses, flashes, filters, software, computers, all those are tools enabling us to do what we love. Take photographs, tell stories visually. So, the iPhone, it's a tool. It is a tool. And I think the question that you need to ask is it the best tool for you? Is it one that you should add to your already war chest of tools? Now, in answering that question, I instantly look at the applications that I use the iPhone for. Uh, um, and I first started thinking about this, and it wasn't, I'll totally admit, it was not my idea. Um, those folks who do plane restoration, they are going to have to disassemble what they've got in order to check it and then to reassemble it in newer, better condition. And you've got let's just say, for example, things like you got wires going into this particular motor or generator. What order did those wires go in? Because when you take everything apart and you do your work, and it could be months later that you reassemble it. Yeah, trust your memory, not so good. Writing down on paper, you got to keep track of that paper. That iPhone is an essential tool. They constantly are taking photographs of things they're going to disassemble, so they know how they were assembled, so they can reassemble them that way. And to me, it's like that's brilliant. I thinking back all the projects that I did with biologists, and a lot of times my job was simply to record those same kind of mundane things like that wiring pattern on that uh, generator as a way of taking quick notes. And hey, the iPhone, killer. So today I use it a ton in the wood shop for a number of things uh, to remind myself how if I do something different in creating a joint or something, I take a picture to remind myself of that. When I set up my studio to do product shots, I take a iPhone picture. When I set up the studio to record like a Kelby One class, I take those shots with the iPhone. And in that case, it is absolutely an essential tool that I can't live without. Now I got to tell you, I listen to people. The way the iPhone organizes images on a phone is absolutely the most garbage system on the planet because you can't find diddly squat. And I've tried a number of different ways, and none of them fit my logic. So in that way, yeah, it's a horrible tool. Now, with that said, there are some folks out there, and I'm gonna go to who I think is the best at this, uh, Russell Brown, Dr. Brown, who was on a form podcast last year. What he's doing with the iPhone is spectacular. No ifs and buts about it. They are spectacular. You can look at it and knowing Russell and his demand for quality and his mind when it comes to finishing and creativity and just being a wackadoo. I mean, what he's doing with the iPhone is pretty bloody amazing. But here's the caveat you have to keep in mind. One, he is a creative genius. Two, nobody knows. I don't care what Russell says. Nobody knows the Adobe back end and finishing possibilities like Russell. Nobody. Three, this is probably the most important part. Russell lives in, bathes in, worships, and execute light like just a few other photographers. And as we know, when it comes to photography, light is everything. So he's got all that going. So that's going to be the first thing I'm going to talk about, the iPhone and its camera. It does things with light that, hey, I wish other cameras could do. Um, but here's the flip side. I can't attach my 800 millimeter lens to my iPhone. I can't shoot 20 frames per second, big ass raw files with my iPhone. I can't hold that thing steady to save my soul doing it air to air. So there's where, in my mind, it doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me. If you're going to do travel photography or photography on the sly, hey, it works great as long as you don't have big clumsy fingers like me that keep getting in the way of the lens. Now, as soon as people, I've been watching a lot of folks, and they keep putting that iPhone on a tripod. That's instantly when you lose me personally. Is that tripod? Hey, as you all know, I don't like tripods. So, one thing about the iPhone to get that sharp photograph, you're going to have to use a tripod a lot more than if you're using a regular DSLR or mirrorless camera. So, the iPhone question, it's a tool. As you look at your kit and you're saying, okay, I've got this body, this lens, but I find myself always needing to do this. That this is the answer, the iPhone. Have you considered or even given it a chance or tried the iPhone in that moment when you need to, do those things? I'm going to give you another example close to home, and that's my beautiful bride, Sharon. Sharon loves to take pictures, but hey, she doesn't want to carry a camera bag, a tripod, doesn't want to do all of those things that I love to do. And she has tried a number of cameras, and ever since the Canon Sure Shot, which was a pocket camera that shot film, ever since that went away, she has never found a camera, and she's tried them all from uh, the Z30, Z50, the FC, the Z6, and numerous DSLRs. None of them ever were just for her Canon Sure Shot pocket camera until the iPhone came. And for her, that simplicity and that ability to instantly share with all her family and friends, and boy, those photographs fly back and forth quickly. Um, has it worked for her? And that's what you need to think about when you are, approaching the iPhone question. I don't think. Well, there's some out there who I think the iPhone is it, and you don't need any other camera. But then they don't. I don't see them shooting any action or wildlife and things that are moving. Right. So that's kind of one of the limitations. It's kind of hard to pan with that iPhone. It can be done. Yeah, it can be done. Any of this can be done. It still comes back to the question to you and your photography. Now, visual communicating, it means a couple things, at least far as I am concerned. First is you have to be taking those photographs. You have to be putting that passion into what you're doing, whether it's an iPhone or a Z9. You are still the most important ingredient in this whole conversation. You drive that. I don't care what anybody says about AI. The real world out there that I don't know if you've noticed that. If you want to go out and photograph something, you have to go out and photograph it. You can't take that camera, computer along and have AI do it for you. So stop worrying about AI. All right. You live in the real world doing real world things. You need that camera, and nothing's going to replace that because what? It's all about you, the story you want to tell. Now, in that process, okay, do you want to always have that camera on a strap on your shoulder? Or do you always want to be taking the iPhone around with a tripod? Is there a place in that conversation where you compromise? Wrong word. You use the best tool, and at times the best tool could be that Z9, and at other times it could be that iPhone. Now, for myself personally, and that's the only reference I can talk about, is that the iPhone is typically the last camera I'm going to grab when I'm thinking about it. It's going to start with that Z9, then it's going to go to the Z30, and then it's going to go to the iPhone. So the iPhone will be the last in that threesome when I think I need to take a picture right now. What am I going to grab? If I'm in the wood shop, the other two cameras aren't even going to be present. So it has to be the iPhone. If I'm working, in a really tight space and plane restoration, and the guy doing the work says I need a picture, I'm gonna grab the iPhone because it's quick, it's fast. Am I gonna take that iPhone back and do all I need to do to get that image off to make a 24 by 30 print? Though you can do it point blank. Yeah, you can do it. Um, I don't think the 24 by 30 quality is quite even there, but and that's my moniker for benchmark for a great shot. It can be done. The question is the iPhone question. Is it a professional tool? A number of people ask point blank, can I make a living from that? Um, if some client is paying me my day rate and I show up with just an iPhone with a bunch of lens attachments, I don't think that client would ever call me back. Now, uh, I'm not working with a bunch of young clients. My clients are they're not in wheelchairs, but the idea that I'm they're trusting their job to a photographer with an iPhone, I don't think is going to work. And that's me and that's my clients. It could be totally different for you and your clients. Now, when it comes to showing a client a picture that I just took to either impress them or ease their mind or furnish an instant need they need to share that image with somebody else, I do use the iPhone, but I'm shooting with the Z9 and I'm using the Snap Bridge to bring a picture from the Z9 in to show the client and then possibly quickly share to them. And in that way, the iPhone is an essential tool. But boy, depending on that camera, you have to decide for yourself, your visual storytelling, the tool. Don't get caught up in the fad. Look at the iPhone camera like you would any other camera purchase or integration into your kit. Think it through, go for it, and then test it thoroughly. Test it thoroughly. I think you're going to find that, like so many of us, it's a great asset to add along to everything else. But at least for me, is right now is what I know about the future. Yeah, I'm not getting rid of any camera gear and going just with the iPhone camera. So I hope that helps you with the iPhone question. A new feature that comes with using this Adobe beta is there's a transcript that's generated. So I will be posting there on the website on the page the transcript. So if you want to read it, it's there as well. So something new, everything's coming up as new sometimes to add to the process. I want to thank you folks for dropping by. And remember to make every click your story.